Hello, good day everyone. Sir Kevin here again and Happy New Year, Happy 2021. Welcome to another semester and welcome to another subject for the Institute of Business Education. And we'll be starting off with this project management course. And let's start with this introduction. So, first thing first, no? What gave way to management? No? What gave way to the decision making part of these entrepreneurs and people who are making decisions. So tracing back history, no, economics gave way on the decision making part. Now, if you remember your lessons in economics, no, that if things are abundant, you're you are not you are not obliged to make decisions to choose the better alternatives because everything's already there. No, ibig sabihin, kumpleto yung mga resources, wala kang constraints. But however, hindi mo naman makukuha lahat. That's the reality of life. No, same as in project management. You cannot you cannot have it all. There must be constraints with your decision making, especially your resources. According to your economics, no, you are able to make decisions, pick better alternatives because of scarcity. And by any means and by any ways, no, you will be encountering constraints with your decisions. No, that's why you need to think about it. So that's the introduction of the project management, and let's dig deeper with the basic concepts of this course. Okay, so what's project management, by the way? Okay, what's a project? No? So if you're thinking about long-term decision making, that might be part of a decision making of a marketer, no? And also strategic management. However, we are on a small scale basis, on a short-term horizons. Now, according to Harold Kersner, project management, a project is a series of activities and tasks that first have specific objectives to be completed within certain specification. So, ibig sabihin, these are short term. Ibig sabihin, there's a specific time that you need to accomplish these tasks. No, so hindi siya pangmatagalan. No, that's the one aspect of a project. And then have a defined start and end dates. No, kasi meron kang target, meron kang objective. So uh, if if things do not have start dates and end dates, no, hindi mo yan basta-basta ma-achieve, no, or you don't have any definition how to achieve it. So having said that, having your start and end dates will compel you, no, to check on your resources, what are the available resources, and what are the things that you have, plus what are the things that you can do, no, using those resources. So at least, no. Okay, so having funding limits, no, especially this is a consideration. Having your funds, this one of your resources, no, and then consume resources. As I've mentioned, you will be consuming money. You'll be using people as your resources and equipment. In your economics, we have those what we call factors of productions. Now we have the land, labor, and capital. So these things are managed to make decisions, no, whether you can achieve an objective or not, no, as well as ito yung isa sa mga pinaka importanteng constraints and resource in a project. It's the time, no. Time is the only economic resource that you cannot get back when wasted, no. So uh, your money, nawala yung money mo, you can borrow from a bank or a financial institution. Nawala yung tao mo, you can rehire. Nawala equipment mo or nasira equipment mo, you can replace it. But yung a lost time cannot be hindi na natin may babalik yung nawalang time. It's because we have contracts, we have start and end dates, no? That's why it's really important. That's the one of the most important element of your project. Okay? So, what is a project? It's a series of activities and tasks that have scope. No? So sabi niya, we have a defined start and end dates, have funding limits, no? Then consume resources. Okay? So, a series of activities also includes that time as I mentioned earlier. No? Okay. So, these are the things that you need to remember in a project. So, you need to know the scope, no? Even in your research, you have the scope and limitation. Anong reason? 'Di ba? You need to manage the expectations, no? What's meant by that, no? You're researching for a specific objectives at nililimit mo or you are stating a scope na yung kaya mo lang. No, that's a specific objectives because a research is also a project, 'di ba? So you have limited time, you have limited resources, that's why you limit your scope. No, yun yung isa sa mga logic natin sa project. Okay? So there's a scope, there's time, and there's resources. No? So again, your scope kaya mo i-manage yan, but time and your resources, yun yung mga meron ka na gagawin mo into a mix. No? Tapos mag-a-adjust na lang yung scope. Okay? So, those are what we call the elements of your project. These are also your scopes. These are also your constraints. What's meant by constraints? Your limitations. Now, what is holding back? If you remember what I said earlier in your economics, no, that that you make decisions because things are limited. No? You make decisions because things are limited. That is why, no, you need to pick the best alternative. By it be your resources, it includes your time and the scope of your decision or your project. No, so that limits you on achieving something. No, so the idea of your project management, sabi nga, it's a short-term scale. And it might be a step-by-step procedure wherein you just need to achieve something first. No, yung mga maliliit na bagay. Na mamaya makikita natin yung ano yung role ng project management sa isang organization. Okay? So, there's a scope, there's time, and there's resources. Okay? So, take a look at this project triangle. No? So, these are your elements. So, there's a scope, there's time, there's resources. Okay? So, pag wala isa dyan, hindi mo magagawa ng maayos yung isang project. Okay? So, again, as I mentioned earlier, your resources and time, ito yung meron ka. No, your scope ay nakadepende sa kung anong meron ka. That's an that's dependent variable with your time and your resources. Katulad din sa research ninyo, there are independent and dependent variables. Okay? So, in terms of your customer relations, no, your scope and time and your resources are also there. Sabi nga, there's no perfect organization and there's no perfect project. No, hindi mo lahat makukuha sa isang birada lang, no? Of course, if you things are improved in nature. No, your projects might be improved in nature. No, parang training lang din 'yan. So, pag first time mong ginawa 'yan, you have those scopes and delimitation. No, look at those successful companies. Nagsimula sila sa maliit. And knowing that they have limited time and they have limited resources, and they just have that small scope, no? And then when things are improved and nagkaroon ng growth and development in their product, in their market, no? So doon na sila mas lumalaki at lumalaki yung resources nila. And meron na silang efficiency in managing time, no? Because of that resources, so lalawak yung scope. So remember these elements and the constraints of a project. Okay? So, in fact, siguro let's not just think about this triangle, but let's visualize this as a Venn diagram, no? So, there's a scope, there's time, and there's resources, that's a project. Nasa gitna nun is the success of the project. So, you need to balance, parang sa marketing mix, you need to balance those three to achieve a better and efficient decision. Okay? So, what is project management, by the way? No? Project management, katulad ng functions of management, no? Is the planning, organizing, directing, and controlling of company resources for a relative short-term objective that has been established to complete specific goals and objectives. That's according to Harold Klossner. No? So, going back, no? Management is the allocation of resources to achieve effectiveness and efficiency towards the achievement of the company's goals and objectives. No? So, ang project management is the smaller scale of that idea. No? So, ibig sabihin, in terms of scientific management, sabi nga scientific management, putting the right person on the right job with the proper tools and equipments. No? So, ganun din sa project management. Yun nga lang, small scale ito, short-term horizon. So, you need to achieve those specific goals and objectives in a short period of time. Okay? So, you need to manage them. Okay? So, what are those two main components of your project management? First is the planning. So, you need to create, then fine-tuning the overall project plan. Of course, there will be plan. No? How will you implement things if you don't have a plan? No? Remember, your objective is to achieve the goal with less cost and in a specific period of time. That is why there should be a blueprint. There should be an overall plan on how will you do it. Kasi kung bara-bara ka lang, there will be waste of time. That's also in the concept of scientific management. That's why you need to plan. No? Number two is your monitoring. No? From time to time, since a short-term period, you need to evaluate. No? You need to monitor what is happening. If there's a progress on the project, or if there are problems that are encountered in the project, so you need to make a shift of decisions, no, that might be affecting the growth and the development of the project. So again, there's planning and monitoring. Those are functions of management, by the way, no. So of course, lahat naman ng decision, you need to monitor them, no. Wag kayo masyadong maniwala dun sa pag nagdesisyon ka na, yun na yon, no. Especially in management, things might change, no? So, after monitoring, after controlling your resources, you need to go back, no? Are you achieving the objectives, or you need to change the plan? Sabi nga ng isang quotation, no? If plan A doesn't work, no? There are 25 more alphabet left, no? Or letters in the alphabet left, no? So, when you monitor and there are things that might be wrong, no? Go back with contingency planning. Okay? So, how you measure a project's success. So, by the way, sa mga susunod na chapter, we'll be discussing more about the issues and complexity of a project management and the constraints. No? So, your measurements of your project's success is within the specification. No? Ibig sabihin, it's an objective measurement wherein uh, you have achieved what you want to do, no. What are your goals and objectives? So if you want to create to produce 100,000 units in 1 month, no, na-achieve mo yun, that might be a success. However, if your objective ay mas specific, so halimbawa you want to achieve a 100,000 with less cost and ganito lang yung gastos and the likes, no, things are getting complicated, no, because you need to shuffle and mix well your resources and the scope, no. So within the specification, and then within allotted time period, so nagawa mo yan. If you remember, nagkaroon ng problema sa parol nung gumawa ng 100,000 na parol, no? There's a problem with the project management and the decision making there. Pag-usapan natin yan ng live discussion. Okay? So, within the budget cost, yun nga, meron kang resources, di ba? Meron kang objectives na ito lang ang gagastusin mo. Pag mas malaki yung mix, so mas masalimuot yung mix ng isang project, so mas nagiging specific yung measurement ng project. Okay? So, tulad ng isang sagot nyo sa essay halimbawa o isang project, no? Within the specification, dapat ganito siya, dapat ganito siya. So, ganun lilitaw yung scoring mo, no? So, if you remember how I um, what do you call this, measuring the assessments, no? So meron ako rubrics. What are the specifications? Personally, you failed to answer this, you need to answer this and the likes. No, merong akong specific specification. So ganun din sa project, no? Pag mas specific yung mga requirements, mas specific din yung measurement ng success ng project. So please remember that. And then accepted by the customer and the user. Of course, how will it be successful without their customer relations? No, and then there should be minimal and mutual scope changes. No, at the very least, hindi ka masyadong lalayo dun sa scope and also dun sa objectives mo. And within corporate culture and without disturbing organization workflow, because that will be resulting to cost, no, unforeseen cost and unforeseen trouble, no, within the organization. So please remember na magkaroon ng konting hindi magkaroon ng significant changes sa organization. Okay? So what are the project management roles? No? So the project managers are responsible for coordinating and integrating activities across multiple and functional lines. No? So tulad nun, in the functions of management, you need to control, you need to manage them. No? So you need to supervise them and then coordinate, integrate activities and give them necessary tools, no? So yun nga, you need to balance those mixes. Then understand operation of lines of organization. So you need to know that, no? Alin ang pwede, alin ang hindi, no? Familiar with technology. So kung sakali you should know about technology. Of course, that's part of resources, no? Para mas madali, no? Kasi halimbawa you're in a manufacturing plant and you don't know the basics, also the things, no, about production. How will you know, no? How will you know whether these machineries and these people, no, can able to make that? So kasali diyan, no? Okay, so what are the toolbox of a successful project manager? So there's a strong communication skills. If you are thinking about this, you are controlling a project, a short term objective. So a strong communication skills really important, no? And then there's a strong interpersonal skills. Hindi lang magaling makipag-usap, kundi magaling makipagkapwa. No, that's a strong interpersonal skill. That's why uh, sa mga job opportunities, it's really important to have a pleasing opportunity and a good interpersonal skills. So please remember that. Sasabihin ninyo na, ay, mahina ako sa pakipagtalastasan. No, that's one core of a business education student. No? Okay, so pagdating na araw, you should have those strong communication and interpersonal skills. And you should have the ability to balance technical and managerial function. Remember scientific management that you need to put the right people at the right time with the proper tools and equipments to achieve organizational effectiveness and efficiency towards the achievement of the goals. No? So, there should be balance of technical and managerial functions. And then overall organizational constraints and you need to cope with and survive risks. Now, of course, as a manager, there's an inherent uh, there's an inherent risk, no, that you need to survive, no, kasi you are a decision maker, no? So at the very least, you are also a good troubleshooter, no? So what are those specific skills that a project manager should possess, no? So there should be a team building, magaling ka na mag-handle ng team. And then hindi lang magaling umandal ng team, kundi kaya mong pangunahan yung team. There should be leadership, conflict resolution, to troubleshoot problems and mishaps, no? Okay, and then technical expertise, that's one, no? Because this is a project. And then planning, no? Okay. Then organizing, those are part of the functions of management. Hindi lang bara-bara na kung kailan mo lang kailangan. A project needs to be organized, by the way, no? So alam mo kung ano yung susunod, no? Alam mo kung ano yung kailangan dun sa ano na yon, dun sa specific project na yon. So you need to organize that, no? So entrepreneurship, magaling ka na to deal with the business, your administration, and the management support, no? And last is resource allocation. So you know, no, how to manage those resources kasi sabi ko nga kanina, it's limited, no? So what do they what do they manage? The engineering, the procurement, construction, the cost engineering. So hindi mo kailangang maging engineer in that matter, but nakita nyo kanina that you need to know technicalities, no? Technicalities, the engineering, ang sabi nga pagkakagawa, no? Pagkakagawa o paano gawin. Now if you remember the basic economic problems, no? What is the product to be done, and how for whom the product to be produced. And yung ikatlo, ito yan eh. If you have projects, how will it be done? You know how will it be done. No? Second is procurement. Of course, you need to see how will your supply chain works, no? And paano ka nakaka-procure. Of course, this is happen to be part of your project na kailangan mo ng mga gamit, no, your raw materials, no? So you need to manage the procurement. Then the construction, ito na yung physical na paggawa niyan. And then you need to know finances, no? That's inherent with the procurement and the constructions, no? Where you will be getting the funds, that's part of the finance. Those are the basic questions in finance naman. How much do you need? How much do you need, and where will you get the money? That's the questions in finance. And last is cost engineering, because you'll be considering the prices pag bebenta mo na to. So yung cost engineering should be cost effective and cost efficient. Na ibig sabihin walang nasasayang na cost, o hindi napupunta lang sa wala yung cost, at dun sa bounds nung pricing strategy mo as well. That's why you need to uh, do the cost engineering, no? So meron kang babawasan na parts, ito yung gagamitin mong na material. So those might be considerations in what project managers manage, no? Okay, so ano pa, project managers manage schedules, of course. Sabi nga, part ng mga factors of your project management or elements of your project management is time. So you need to manage schedule, no? One thing I would like to tell you, one thing I would like to tell you about time is time is scarce and fixed, no? So what do you need to do, no? Hindi mo naman hindi mo naman ma-expand yung time mo, pararamihin yung time. For that matter, no, hindi mo mapaparami, and especially if you have deadlines. What do you need to do? You need to schedule, no? So you need to schedule what you will be doing, no? In the future topics, we'll be discussing more about how to schedule and prioritize tasks towards the achievement ng isang project. Okay? So hindi lang time management kundi priorities and schedule management, no? So anong oras mo gagamitin ito, saan mo gagamitin ito, ilan ang kailangan mo, no? What should come first. Okay? So also consideration ang environment and then regulatory requirements and law. So if you're a project manager, you need to be able to know these considerations, no? Cost escalations dahil cost engineering din ang inisip natin, and labor and client relations. And what are those management skills that you need to consider and you need to have according to our yung mga skills na kailangang meron ang isang project manager, interpersonal at saka communication skills. So it falls under human behavior, interpersonal relationships. So kahit papano you have that you know the human psychology. That's why you have those subjects in college, no? Organizational behavior. So it's not just a personal behavior or human behavior, but also the behavior or the culture in the organization. That's about sociology naman, no? So communication, that's in your English. And what are the responsibilities of a project manager, by the way? No? So it's a planning agent. It's a planning agent. So a project manager is a planning agent. No? Takes charge of the overall and of the project. No? Not detailed planning, kasi ang detailed planning nasa functional or line managers. No? But of course, for you to be able to be an effective and efficient project manager, syempre, kahit papaano alam mo yung mga detalye nung paggawa ng mga nasa functional or line managers. Now, that's why many of those nasa functional managers na po-promote na mga project managers, no, pagdating na araw, because they have those technical expertise. So, they're able to resolve conflicts and make trade-offs. No? So, that's what you call a planning architect. No? A planning architect completes the tasks, resource requirements, major timetable and milestones, and item quality reliability requirements, and performance measurement. So, a project manager is a planning architect wherein uh, he controls or monitors, no, yung completion of tasks and the performance measurements nung isang project. Okay, so that might be it for our introduction and the basic concepts of project management. No, we'll be continuing specific topics the following meeting, and expect for more detailed project management issues and the complexity of it. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'll see you on to the next one. God bless.